What are we doing, Seth?
Sometimes I wonder what motivates somebody to want to be, let me say, a pastor. Oh, I know. You were called by God to make you go build a church, right? I wonder what happened to the phrase, I have a dream. Because sometimes it takes that for you to do something. Well, why does it have to be, I was called by God? Because almost 85, if not 90% of lots of pastors these days say they got a message from God or God called them or something. Anyway, we're going to be talking about a pastor today that he was called by God to go build a church, but not in Nigeria. It's back in the UK. So this dude went to London. He didn't want to come back, stayed above his visa time and everything, but he was able to have everything that he needed, so to speak. And he decided to build a church because God said so to him. I'm talking none other than Pastor Tobi Adegboyega. Yeah, you know him, right? The flamboyant pastor, the big guy, and it's always around the big guns, the Cubanas of our time, superstars like Davido and the likes. Those are his clique, right? And a lot of cars, flashy guy, He decided to build a church and he called it Spark Nation. Yeah, he had a dream, all right. And Spark Nation, don't get me wrong. I mean, it might sound like a name of a tag team wrestling team in wrestling. No, this is the name of a church, Spark Nation. So he was able to build this, create this church successfully, I might say, and under their charitable organization, of course. Most churches are under the non-profit organization, right? Yeah, they don't, so that they will avoid paying tax and all of that, but they will tax you. Mm-hmm. What are we doing, Seth? So, Pastor Tobi, as we speak now, even with all that flamboyancy and all the wealth and everything, he might be deported back to Nigeria. Why, you might ask? Well, after creating this church, I remember this church he created is attracted to most black people. So most of the congregation are blacks. And according to what we are hearing, he was able to convince a lot of gangsters to change their hearts and submit to the church, submit their weapons and whatever, and live a better life. Clap for him, right? That was good. And so that is what it seems. However, though, this is what we heard, that he always encourages that these folks and his congregation generally can go get loans from wherever they can but bring it to the church. What a way to pay tithes now and offering. That's another level, right? So Pastor Tobi, was investigated and they found out that maybe he was into fraud and all of that, So at this point, Tobi right now is in trouble. Now, this guy, is also a cousin to the star actor called John Boyega. I'm sure you guys know him. He's a popular actor. So when he came into London, he was staying with him until he was called by God to build this church, Spark Nation, and he built it and he was doing all of that. So his sermons often focus on empowerment and success, drawing his followers seeking a way out of troubled lives, like he said, But over time, his methods and motives came under scrutiny. What happened? Critics argue that his messages became less about spirituality and more about materialism. Now, most pastors we know, is all about what Pastor Damina calls transactional preaching. You have to give something to get something. A lifestyle that doesn't sit well with society's expectations of modesty and humility for pastors. So Pastor Tobi, like we said, very flamboyant guy, he was mingling with the big boys and, he was able to get lots of wealth, doing all of this. So the accusation came and they labeled Spark Nation a cult. With members alleging they were encouraged to donate money through extreme means, including taking out loans, committing benefit fraud, and even selling their blood. Yeah, you got that. Selling their blood to do what? Well, we're about to find out. For donations, yes. So he encouraged people to donate their blood, so that they can use it, but they'll be paid, So the controversies surrounding Pastor Tobi are numerous as the luxury cars in his garage. Allegations against him include mismanagement of church funds, money laundering, and even encouraging his young followers to take drastic measures to donate money. Okay? Now, former members of SPAC Nation have claimed they were pressured into taking out loans, committing benefit fraud, and selling their blood to support the church. Very, very intriguing. Now, this sounds like an episode. Now, that's what the court and investigations have been trying to determine. Could it be true that SPAC Nation was involved in all of this? Now, in court, Tobi's legal team pulled out all the stops. They painted him as a charismatic community leader, a man who saved countless youths from the streets of London. He even claimed his efforts were applauded by politicians, including our bros, BJ. That's Boris Johnson. But when asked to provide proof, they could not. All right. So the tribunal wasn't really pleased. They were not amused. They were not impressed. They found his evidence exaggerated and ruled that his absence wouldn't cause the collapse of his church work if truly he was doing it legitimately. In fact, they called his claims hyperbolic and suggested his influence was more of a PR stunt than reality. Pastor Tobi Alpha. Could that be true? Even though as you speak, Pastor Tobi is like, I can never be moved out of the UK. How far can that go? Can he pull out that stunt and make that happen? Okay. Now, adding to Pastor Tobi's woes is his close association with high-profile figures like we mentioned, Obi Kubana, E-Money, and OBO. That's Davido. Now, that's my guy. I like him. While these connections might elevate his status in some circles, they also amplify the scrutiny of his wealth origin. With no clear source of income beyond his church, critics have questioned how he funds his extravagant lifestyle. That's Pastor Tobi that had a dream and was called by God to build a church. Well, Pastor Tobi's defense team pulled all the stunts. They argue that his work with SPAC Nation, that's the name of the church, had been praised by politicians and all of that. But here's the kicker. They couldn't produce any evidence. No evidence to show that whatever he did was okay and all of that. So the court was not pleased. In fact, they now resolved and said, we are not satisfied that the work of SPAC Nation undertakes generally will collapse or even significantly suffer should the appellant be required to leave the UK. The court also ruled that his marriage to a British citizen did not override the fact that he had lived in the UK unlawfully for nearly 20 years. Ouch. What are we doing, sir? So, folks, tell me, did Pastor Tobi did wrong on his church? Because going by what most churches do, that's what they do. That's where they get their funds to buy jets, to all of that. So how come Pastor Tobi's own is different? What happened? You tell me, because I don't know. And if you have any contrary comments, please drop, share, subscribe, and let's see, hopefully, what Pastor Tobi can pull off. Because this sounds like an episode that will continue. I wish him the best, and hopefully he will come out of this in good health and everything good for him. All right? Thank you for watching. Hopefully we will meet again with more juicy episodes. And don't forget to please kindly subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before the year runs out. So that'll be fantastic. If you can help this show, help this program to move on, and we'll really be appreciative of it. Until we meet again, bye-bye.
What are we doing, Seth?